I think most romantic comedies are really silly. I think they're false. And that you rarely find one that seems to be dealing with real subject matters and dealing with it in a way that is sometimes funny, but sometimes honest in a way that's painful or sad. And the movie seems to be moving in and out of these life as we know it. That life, I find, can be very funny and hilarious and sometimes absolutely heartbreaking. And I felt like this script, when you start a movie with something tragic or a comedy with something tragic, and then out of it comes these relationships and the characters, I felt were very genuine and likable in a way that there wasn't like the bad guy who was obvious. You know, to me it was these people were real and they were dealing with real situations. I felt like what he is he's a true, genuine Southern man, gentleman. That he's someone who like truly has a good heart. And you know, pediatricians oftentimes their life is relating to babies and children, and there's something sometimes quite, I find, lovely and childlike about them as well. And he's obviously, it was interesting to try and create the difference between Josh Duhamel's character and my character, and how they're both good guys, but that they approach the world very differently, and so that hopefully the audience is not sure which one they want her to go with because they like both and they're both quite different. But he was a treat to play. He was fun to play, definitely, particularly opposite Catherine. I was only there for a brief period of time, and so you immediately have to create a relationship where it looks hopefully as genuine as this one does. It was so simple for me because I have a crush on Catherine. I've had a crush on Catherine forever. But then to go into it and have someone who's in an amazing place in her life, having just making a movie about raising a baby, and she's just adopted this baby, and she's in this very, I think she was very filled with joy and with fear and all the different things that being a mom demands. And I found her to just be magnificent. You know, it was just like everything you ever hope. Like you go into movies sometimes and you work with an actor or an actress who you admire, and it ends up being quite difficult. And this one was just, I got to go kiss Katherine Heigl some days. He is a really nice, genuine guy. Again, you know, I think actors can be quite competitive with each other, and there can be a real sense of trying to kind of outdo each other, and it was like the exact opposite with Josh. I think he was truly trying to support the movie and Catherine, but also there was never a moment between the two of us that felt edgy or aggressive, and I think there's something about Josh that he's just a truly genuine good guy, and I don't know that that's quite rare for actors. I think Greg also asked for us to be as honest with the movie as possible, and I think when actors, particularly when you're doing these kind of comedies where they want to make it funny and therefore it becomes quite fake and you feel fake, and so with this it was the opposite, and this it was we all were able to talk about the fact that the joy of making the movie was part of what we were experiencing, that was coming off the script. It was coming from Greg, it was coming from Catherine, it was coming from Josh, it was coming from everyone. It was symbiotic, you know, it was like really genuinely feeding itself in a way that was very special. And I think partly, you know, when you're on a movie that's a lot of families, there was a lot of big families all over the place. Everyone sort of kept all the families around. Catherine's got her family there, Josh and his wife, and everyone was, the producer of the movie was having a baby during the, it was strange, kind of wonderful. I actually liked working with the baby, I have to say, and I partly made a choice because I felt like as a pediatrician, my job would be to be as comfortable with these babies and as playful with them. I think the thing that I learned from them is that when it was work, they hated it. So you had to treat or trick them in a way so that they weren't working, they were playing. And the second they were playing, you could see that they were like, oh, this is fun. But then once they would see the cameras, they'd be like, wait, I'm working. And it was kind of a fun lesson as an actor to try and do the same thing myself, but just to try and make them as comfortable as they could be, because they don't need to be working on a movie at 18 months old.